Hey, I'm Steph Saunders. This is the Upside Downside Real Estate Report. It's a blog, a podcast about what's happening in our local market. I'm a realtor here in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. My office is here in Salem, New Hampshire. And I'd just like to give you an update about what I'm seeing in the market compared to what we're seeing nationally, as headlines are very different depending on where you live. So let's get right into it. So first, I do the upside and the downside for both sellers and buyers. So the upside for sellers right now is it's the middle of the summer. It's hot. A lot of people go out of town. In our market in July, it's almost as if everyone in New Hampshire and Massachusetts just gets out of Dodge. I don't know where they go. I think they're on family vacations. They're traveling around the world. But either way, not only is it difficult to get transactions done right now, because I think every single one of my emails is someone's out of office or being covered. But the upside for sellers, and what I'm trying to say, is that it's actually a great time for you to sell a house because there's less competition. Just as long as you're cognizant of the fact that the downside is you're probably not going to get like this overwhelming amount of offers because there is less buyers in the market in July. So the upside is less competition. The downside is less buyers in the market. Also, sellers, you need to understand 2020 to 2022, things went wild. Sellers were able to price whatever they wanted for their homes. They were able to have multiple offers and really have all the leverage. Those days are just gone. 80% of sellers think that they're going to get their listing price. The reality is 62% of sellers are getting less than their listing price. So what can you do to protect yourself and protect your equity? You've got to work with a really savvy realtor that understands the market. You have to have a strategy. You need a pre-marketing strategy, an on-marketing strategy, a negotiation strategy, a get to the closing table strategy. So if you're looking for that, check out my Seller Mastery program. We see over asking prices pretty regularly, almost consistently, and that's because it is a system, and we can talk more about that later. All right, getting into the buyers. On the buy side, if you're a buyer and your concern is price, then the upside for buyers is this is the best time of year to get a deal. That's right. There is less competition in the market. July statistically is the cheapest that we sell our homes here in New England. And when I say cheap, I still say, average homes are around $550,000. But if you're a buyer and you want less competition and a better price, then this is your buying season. I really hope that if you want to buy a house, you go out there next weekend, the next couple weekends, before everybody comes back into town and everybody starts thinking, okay, I'm back from vacation, the kids are back in school, and now we got to move before the holidays. So this is the best time for buyers in our market. The downside for buyers is if your main concern is you want choice, well, there's not a lot of inventory right now. It's a slower time for us. And then also interest rates. So let's touch on that. Interest rates have stayed consistently between 6 and 6.5%. The good news is a lot of people have just acquiesced to the fact that all right, interest rates are 6.5%. We have to move, which is true. If you got to move, you got to move. Jobs, you just need more space. Relationship changes. So a lot of people have just said, okay, it's going to be 6.5%. It's been 6.5% for almost 2 years. However, depending on what product you choose, I did just close a buyer at 6.125%. So depending on what product you choose, you can get better rates. And this is why it's so important. A lot of buyers come to me and they have one pre-approval. Well, that's great. You as a buyer have the option of choice. So you should be getting quotes from multiple lenders. You should be doing your research. It's the same thing as car shopping or laptop shopping. You don't just go to one place and go, well, this is the price. This is what I have to pay. No, you do your research and you should do the same thing. All right. So that was the Upside Downside Real Estate Report for July 2026. Let's get into some national versus local headlines. So nationally, the inventory is flat. Not only is the inventory flat, the home sales are flat. We've had around 4 million home sales for the last 4 years. It's very stagnant, but it also depends on where you're living. For instance, in the Northeast, our inventory is up 7%, and that's the whole Northeast looking at it regionally. If you look in New Hampshire, our inventory is actually up 17%, and this is year over year, so about June to June 2025 to June 2026. And in Massachusetts, our inventory is up 6%. So It might be flat in other places in the country. Inventory might even be down in other places of the country, but for us, inventory is up. Also, I wanted to look at the average days on market. As we know, the longer a home sits on the market, the less it's going to sell for. So the average days on market nationally is 52 days till you get an offer, till you're under contract. That's a very long amount of time. If we look in New Hampshire, the average days are 34 days, and in Massachusetts, it's 29. And those numbers are looking at the entire state. So it can really be skewed. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm from Manchester, New Hampshire, and there are many places, Carroll County, north of Carroll County, closer to Maine, I've never heard of, and home sales there are going to be much slower than if you have a prime property right on the Massachusetts border that's close to highways and it's close to great schools and it's in excellent condition. So that's going to skew things a little bit. Same thing with Massachusetts. The closer you are to Boston, to greater Boston, the faster the homes are selling than if you were to go out to the Berkshires or further west. So a little bit about what's going on here. All right, next, let's talk about seasons of selling and buying, okay? So if you're a home seller and you want to get top dollar for your home, it's very important, if you can, to time when you're going to list your home. For some home sellers, they think, I would never sell my home unless the whole world gets to see my flowers and my flower beds and my mulching and my landscaping and my green grass. So you're going to sell sometime after the frost once the planting has happened, and that's great. The downside of that is that so is everybody else. Sorry to say it, but everybody wants their home to look beautiful in spring, and that's why we call it the spring market. However, it's not always the best for sellers because there's more competition, and it's not always the best for buyers because, again, more competition. Did I say that right? Let me think about that again. If you list your home in the height of the spring as a seller, so is everybody else. There's more homes for sale. For the buyers, if you're looking for inventory, if you want options, then yes, this is the best time for you to be shopping. Now let's flip that. If you're a buyer and you want the best price, then perhaps you should be looking in the off-market seasons. Those would be in the height of summer, this month, July, beginning of August, but then also during the holidays. So after October, things slow down a little bit. And I should say the other great time for sellers to list their home is, I'd say, end of August when all the kids are back in school, including the colleges. But you want to get this done before Halloween comes, because once we hit Halloween, we go into this wild holiday. That's all we can focus on around here. So another great selling season is after the height of the summer, but before the holiday season. Again, for buyers, if you're looking for a deal, you're going to want to shop during that holiday season. But if you want the most amount of choice, you're looking for that fall sale. I hope that helps with your seasons of selling. Now, of course, sometimes you don't have choice. You are relocating for a job, extenuating circumstances. There's a lot of reasons why you have to list your home when you list your home, and that's okay. You just want to make sure that the strategy that you're applying or that your realtor is applying meets the selling season that you're in. And same for buyers. Make sure your realtor understands the buying season that you're in and how to win in that season, in that market. It's changing constantly, and, make sure you're working with someone who knows what they're doing. My Buyer Mastery program is a strategic program that I created to help buyers secure a home in 3 offers or less. That is written offers. And that's because I do a lot of work up front to make sure we're understanding what you're looking for, what your investment is going to be, and then asking a lot of questions and making a plan. So we're going to go and see a ton of homes. I just closed a buyer. We looked at homes for 6 months. And on their 3rd offer, they got the perfect home. They almost got it on the 2nd offer, but things fell apart in that offer that weren't necessarily on our side. It was a little weirdness on the listing agent's side. And that's okay. That home didn't work out. But when they found the perfect home, and every buyer, when you eventually find the right home, they all say the same thing. I'm so glad I didn't get that other house because this is the right one. So trust the process and have a great guide and you'll get there. as far as what I'm seeing on the sell side, one of the reasons I haven't done another podcast is I was so busy this spring market. Even during my honeymoon, when I was gone in May, I was working every single day, which it's a blessing to work on the beach. I'm not going to complain. But then when I got back, it was just listing, listing, listing. I'm so proud of my sellers this spring. They really followed the Seller Mastery program to a T. And I created this program because when I came into this industry, it wasn't my first career. My first career was as an actress. And then I worked in retail for a long time in personal shopping. And then I came into real estate. And I brought a lot of my entertainment background and my sales background. And I really looked at the systems that were there and I saw some holes. So I made some solutions. And then I trademarked my program. And the great thing about my program is it is a system. The sellers can be as involved or not involved as they want to be. I want sellers to be as hands-on as they want to be. But if you just want to go, here's what I want, make it happen. The good thing about a system is you can plug participants in, or you can just take care of everything yourself and have the right people around you to help you do that. So that's what's great about the system. I'm so proud of my sellers. Everybody absolutely killed it in the market this spring. I couldn't be happier for them. So thank you for trusting me, and thank you for your reviews, and congratulations on your home sales, and the buyers too. Congratulations on finding your homes this spring. It's been an absolute wild ride this year. And I'm just really happy because I've been doing this since 2019, but I think I'm at the place now where I'm working with people that there's a real mutual respect there. And it's just such a joy once you find, you find the people that respect your work and understand your work, and you find the clients that you really enjoy spending time with, and you are a positive part to a very stressful transaction because there's a lot of the unknowns. But for me, I really love helping people just enjoy the process. You're going to be stressed no matter what. My job is to alleviate that from you and to help you feel informed, assured of what the next step is, always being ahead of what's coming up so that I can alleviate some of the stress that, of course, you're feeling. Moving sucks. Moving companies are extremely expensive right now. Good Lord. I will be upping that part of my net sheets for my clients because the moving costs have been really, really high right now. So either way, packing up your home, moving your home, listing your home, selling your home, prepping your home, it's a lot. But as long as you have a good guide, I like to stay as positive as possible and make sure that you're handling your tasks, I'm handling my tasks, and everybody's on the same page. Okay, so that's that. Let's look at, and the last thing, the concerns that none of us can control. We cannot control the economy. We cannot control mortgage rates, and we cannot control world events. And those are going to be there no matter when you sell your home. Or when you buy a home, those things are just ebbing and flowing throughout life. So we're going to be aware of them, and we're going to strategically pay attention to them, but we can't control them. So let's focus on what we can control and stay positive. All right. These are my notes. So let's see what else. We're adding a new segment. Since this is our second podcast, we're adding a new segment called Viewer Mail. So our first podcast, we did have a client write in, a listener, but also a past client. And she said, "Hi, Stephanie. I listened to your first podcast and I enjoyed it." Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm curious what topics you are going to cover. I was wondering if one of them could be AI and what agents and brokers can and cannot do to manipulate photos on a listing. The reason I ask is because I know a family member that saw a house online, and when they went to see it, there were some drastic changes from the real thing. This is a topic that I am super passionate about. So thanks for asking. So let's talk about it. AI in photos, AI staging, AI manipulation, AI. I mean, it's like all we're talking about right now. So my belief is that, well, first of all, before I tell you my belief, let me tell you what brokers and agents can and can't do. Brokers and agents can manipulate their photos through AI as long as it is disclosed. Now, that disclosure in our MLS, and I can only speak for MLS in Massachusetts and the MLS in New Hampshire. So that's Prime and Pinergy. The brokers and the agents must disclose that the photo has been doctored, AI, retouched, virtually, whatever. But it goes in a disclosure place on the MLS that the consumer can't see. Really, the only people that can see it are other agents that have the login to the back end. So the consumer is not seeing that disclosure that the photo has been altered. Some people do on the photos in the MLS that you'll see, like, let's say on like Zillow.com. Some people will put virtually staged or virtually enhanced or virtually whatever on the photo. So sometimes you'll see it in like the bottom left or the bottom right, but they don't have to. The only thing they have to do is put it in the disclosures inside the MLS, which is silly because as a realtor, I know the minute I look at your photo that it's virtually altered. The consumer doesn't. They don't know because they're just not as trained at looking at photos all day, every day to know the difference. Now, a lot of people are doing virtual staging. And I think what this person is saying is that the client felt a little bait and switch. And I get it. I feel the same way. When I'm looking at a photo online or anything, and I'm expecting a reality, that when I physically go there in person and that reality is not there, I feel duped. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like, why did I waste my time? And I ultimately now don't trust anything. It's just broken my trust, basically, because I expected a product. I expected a reality. I expected, I had an idea of how I was going to live in the space and what it would be like to live this life instead of the life that I'm currently living in. And when you go there and it's different, you just kind of feel a little gutted. So I do not do virtual staging. No disrespect to anybody who's doing it. And it's a lot of agents. I personally prefer to create an environment that looks very similar to what you see online and when you go and see it in person, because I know that buyer, if I'm on the listing side, I know that buyer is starting to imagine their life in that new space, in that new environment from the second they see it, and they're thinking about it. Oh, my furniture fit here, this, that. And when they go to the house, it needs to exceed their expectations. It needs to feel even better in real life, IRL, than in the photos, because it's where they're going to live. It's where they're going to have their next memories and throw their next parties and have their friends over. So when that reality is not there, first of all, it's kind of why they think realtors we get this bad reputation of, used car salesmen, bait and switch. So what's the answer? The answer is, I like it when realtors do the one photo that's not altered next to the photo that is altered. So at least you're letting the buyer know, like, hey, this is what it looks like when you walk in, but here's what you could do with it. And I think that's a very great way to do it. I don't think you should have virtual photo and not any act. I don't think you should have virtual photo and then a hidden disclosure that the consumer can't see, because I don't think you're doing your seller I think you're doing your seller a disservice. I think you're doing the buyers a disservice. And I think you're creating a bait and switch environment that now everybody's disappointed. And that's a terrible way to start a transaction. You really want both sides going in, feeling trusting, feeling represented, feeling good, feeling positive that everybody's making a fair transaction, a fair representation of the product. And I think that leads to a much stronger transaction. I like to disclose as much as possible. My clients know, and she was very nice in the email to say, after working with you twice, we know that you are all for staging and making the house look great. And you're right. Everybody's going to be different. Some agents use their iPhones to take photos of listings, including, toilet seats up and catching themselves in a bathroom mirror while they're taking a photo with their iPhone. Sure, you can pay a broker to sell your house that way. I think you're overpaying, but some people want to create more of an experience for the seller, for the buyer, and for everybody. And that's just a little bit more my style. I have used virtual staging before, once when I had a condo and it was a sudden move. We had to get to market really fast. And there was a lot of like boxes and furniture and things that couldn't be moved out. So I used it to remove the boxes and the excess furniture so that you could just see the four walls. I didn't, add paintings and carpets and drapes and, smooth out the ceilings because that's not what that condo was about. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on AI. Use it sparingly. We're all making photos look great. Professional photography in and of itself all has a little zhuzhing. Even, headshots, listing photos, everything is a little brightened and tightened up. But anything that is really truly a false representation is also a code of ethics violation. So for instance, if you're listing a home that's near power lines, big, giant power lines, and you take those out and then list the photo, that's a violation because that is a misrepresentation of a home. All right, so that's our first viewer mail. And again, if you're ever unsure, hopefully you're working with somebody that's guiding you in the right direction and can answer those questions for you. I'm very, very, very blunt with my buyers about what I see, about what they want, about what the product actually is that they're looking at. That's our job, and it saves everybody time. And sometimes a no gets you to a yes faster. All right, so that's our first viewer mail. And again, if you're ever unsure, hopefully you're working with somebody that's guiding you in the right direction and can answer those questions for you. I'm very, very, very blunt with my buyers about what I see, about what they want, about what the product actually is that they're looking at. That's our job, and it saves everybody time. And sometimes a no gets you to a yes faster. All right, so that's all I have for today. I'm wishing everybody a wonderful summer. We are so blessed to be here during summer. Can you imagine if this is what our weather was like year round? Oh my goodness. Everyone would be here more than they already are. I absolutely love this time of year. Enjoy it. Go swimming. Check out. We're so blessed to live where we live. We're so close to the ocean. We're so close to the lakes and to the mountains. Just get out there and enjoy it and explore. And if you have any questions about real estate, or if you're thinking of buying and selling this year, maybe next year, or perhaps you have an aging parent or family member, I am a seniors real estate specialist. I am certified in helping people make moves, even if you're, looking to downsize or find something that's a better fit for you. I am certified in that as well. I also really love building new homes with new construction. I'm actually about to start a kitchen in my own house. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I really need to make some videos about the process, about picking out, countertops and cabinets, and it's all happening. So we're ordering our cabinets today. Pray for me. And I hope to do a little footings to finished on my own home. So it's going to be quite a project. We're taking down a wall. We're combining the kitchen with the dining room. It's going to be so exciting. And also, I get it. It's nerve-wracking. Change is uncomfortable, but it always leads to the next thing. And a lot of times it's even better than you can imagine. So take the chance, take the risk. Get yourself a new kitchen or just a new house. I mean, why go through a remodel when you could just buy another one? Trust me, we talk about that all the time. All right, friends, that's all I have for today. Again, my name is Steph Saunders. I'm a realtor in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. My website is sellyourhousewithsteph.com. You can also find me on all social channels, no matter what you like. Are you a YouTuber? You like your Insta? You like TikTok? Whatever, you can find me. It's at Sell Your House with Steph, except for X. It's Team Boston Homes because Sell Your House with Steph was too long, but anyways, any questions, reach out. You want to invite me over, take a look at the house, do a little planning. I did that recently with someone in Boxford. Very exciting. We'll see if they actually go to market. Ask me questions. You're never bothering me. This is my job. So you asking questions and keeping me involved and giving me a heads up is, that's my whole business. So you're never a bother. Please always reach out. Clients always do that. Oh, I'm sorry to bother you. You're not bothering me. Not getting in touch with me and then finding out that something's going on that I didn't know about, that's a bother. So always reach out. I'm always available. Happy summer. Get out there and enjoy it. We're so lucky to live here. And I'll see you next time. Bye.